Letting go is taking back. Let's talk about that. I realize what I'm about to say may not be a popular opinion because we love our stuff, but too much stuff may be the problem. It definitely was for me. I promise you, letting go of excess supplies and unfinished projects that no longer excite you will free you up to take your creative time back. The last time we hung out, I was paring down my unfinished projects, and today we're letting go of excess supplies that are weighing us down. Welcome to Mixed Media Headquarters. If you're new here, I'm Donna. I started this channel to inspire and motivate people who want to create more, do so through organization tips, simple design ideas, and a behind-the-scenes look at how a working artist gets it done. Personally, I found it way easier to be real about an unfinished project that had lost its luster than a shiny new element filled with possibilities. But more cool stuff does not always equal more possibilities. In fact, overwhelm from too many choices can quickly lead to zero productivity. Maybe you don't have a lot of stuff yet. Hopefully this video will encourage you to avoid collecting too much so you won't get weighed down in the future. When I only organize with neatness and containment in mind, I struggle with parting with anything cool that I could make something from or with. Before I start considering other factors like function and how important resetting my space is to my productivity, just about anything got to stay in my growing inventory if I could find a nook or cranny to stuff it in. The tendency to hoard has many faces, including the face of a maker like you or me. We are all dreamers of possibilities. After all, we know we are capable. The problem arises when our confidence in our capabilities of making just about any cute or crafty thing we admire overrides the reality of actually making it. We always have very good intentions, but fail to evaluate the time, expense, and potential result before we buy that brightly new colored fill in the blank. Before we know it, we find ourselves in the middle of our own mini Michael store that isn't serving us. For me, this can too easily lead to not making anything at all due to overwhelm. Is this you? If it is just me, I hope you'll still find some value in this video, and be sure to check back for my zone organization series. So, since we don't have anyone in a blue smock vest punching in to dust our supply shelves and put our unused inventory on clearance, we need a system. If you haven't started yet, let me reassure you, you are not behind, and since you're here, now you're no longer alone. Sometimes you just have to take everything out of your space and start with a clean slate. I have given away tons of stuff, and I still have more than I will ever use. Figuring out what I will actually use and what I need to let go of has been happening in phases. Working in phases gave me the clean slate feeling. Also, working in manageable chunks kept me from getting overwhelmed and kept my supplies from taking over my whole house. Here's how it went. I pulled supplies out of my studio by category into a larger space where I could spread out as I sorted. I also grabbed any related items from my back stock along with any floating items. You know, the things that don't have a home yet, so they get moved from spot to spot. Then I sorted each category into 3 piles by using 2 questions and 1 rule. The rule is nothing goes back in my studio unless it is a clear yes. Sounds drastic, I know, but stick with me. My clear yes pile was for items that I knew without hesitation that I love and will use. The second pile was for the maybes. The third is for items I know I'm ready to let go of. After a quick sort using these parameters, I moved into my questions. I had a good sized pile to let go of at this point, but I knew I could do better and I needed more space. So I circled back to my yes pile and asked the same question we used in the unfinished project purge, which is, how much do I really need? Let's use my ribbon as an example. It was taking up a lot of shelf space. I like to be able to see my option, but since I rarely use it, and when I do, I don't use much, I decided to keep a sample of each ribbon on clips. This way I can see them and snip a piece when I need it and pack the rest away. For the maybe pile, the question was, could I easily replace this item at a low cost? In the case of my ribbon, I can always grab a roll of red grosgrain ribbon just about anywhere if I need more. But my vintage velvet might not be as easy to find. I limited myself to 1 container, and what didn't fit had to go. So I put my vintage ribbon in first and took some smaller quantities off of the bulky rolls and clipped them together to make them fit. Each category I sorted had a maybe pile with items I have held onto for quite a while and never used. I still love some of these items, but now they had to pass the not so easy to replace test in order to stay. Remember, all of these considerations are being made with the goal of removing barriers to our productivity. Simplifying removes barriers. Rearranging and organizing excess inventory without letting go may look nice and feel good for a while, but those temporary fixes will not keep your space from quickly becoming overrun by too much stuff as soon as you start working again. Ask me how I know. Simplifying removes barriers, getting rid of excess supplies that are weighing us down, old projects that just mock us because they're unfinished. We're letting those go. So I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you will pick up some tips from me and maybe pair them with some tips you've learned elsewhere to set yourself up for a win and create more this year. There's always room for improvement, keeping in mind that perfection is not reality, nor is it the goal. Progress is worth celebrating and should always be the main goal.